It seems that they live in forests, in caves hidden under large boulders or along the banks of waterways. It is said, curiously enough, that their main enemy is wasps and that they fear their hives. In addition to all this information, Swanton also talks about the fetus that the little people entertain with the natives started. In fact, he tells that some medicine men they speak of these beings and describe them to laymen, and that they are seen as sorcerers. Furthermore, because of their ease of speech, these sorcerers attract upon themselves the discontent of Ayahanisha, to the point that sometimes the latter warp not only to deprive him of the occult powers previously conferred, but even to kill them. However, if at first glance this attitude on the part of the little people could be considered reprehensible with good reason, the author immediately specifies that these sorcerers' doctors they owe their origin in the esoteric sense of initiatory birth, or rather of ancestral descent, to the little people, and that they themselves cause the suffering of the innocent themselves, for example by deliberately slowing down their healing in order to receive a higher reward. In this way, the Chickasaw Indians recognize the Ayahanisha the power to confer a sort of investiture or initiatory admission. If you prefer, to whom it proves virtually able to use occult knowledge for noble purposes, only to reserve the right to rethink if the beneficiary makes a selfish use of it. The question, on the human level of morality, is overturned in an instant. The choice of good and evil remains a purely human burden, and the little people simply recognize the ability to strike, as if by retaliation, anyone who chooses to use the supernatural gift bestowed by them for nefarious purposes. He who sows wind reaps storms if you mean it. Finally, an even more hermetic revelation is provided by Zhang Hil Chaduri when he writes that when the members of the little people who are great trickster are present, everything is right and safe as it should be. Soon after, revealed to the creek that the plant of the world is alive and well, and that the little people will move when disaster is about to happen. Reminiscences from ancestral times of a cataclysm that caused, in ancient times, the inclination of the Earth's orbit and the fall of the axis of the world cosmic tree, sacred mountain, pole, vine, etc., which previously would have allowed the access to have been present in the myths of almost all archaic planetary traditions, prophecies about a future biblical cataclysm, or just superstitions of no account, whose original meaning has been lost along the way, in the sands of millennia, just like that bizarre find called by scientists St. Pedro's mummy, found in 1934 by two gold miners Cecil Main and Frank Carr in Carbon County, Pennsylvania, which ironically would almost seem to be etymologically composed of bread and Selvins, deity of the woods.